What's up, guys? My name is Jerry, and today we're going to be talking about how the New Orleans Pelicans have the perfect balance of young and veteran stars, and we're going to jump right into the video. When it comes to a young, developing NBA team, I think it's very important to have veteran leadership and veteran play out on the court. When we look at the New Orleans Pelicans roster, it is so loaded, and a lot of these guys are still young in the NBA, and the Pelicans have still found a way to create that perfect balance of veteran stars and young stars. And we look at what they did at the NBA trade deadline last season. I think it was very vital for them to acquire McCollum, and a lot of people tried to talk bad on this trade when it initially happened, but as soon as McCollum stepped into the Pelicans locker room and he stepped onto the court for those guys, he put all that noise to bed. And what I have to admire about McCollum, we look at this trade from his point of view. He was traded away from a team that he played 10 plus years for, and then he had a very close friend in Damian Lillard, and then he was traded to the New Orleans Pelicans, a team that wasn't doing too well at the time. He could have been very distraught about that, but he was the exact opposite. He came into the Pelicans with his chin up, very engaged with these young guys, and he was a leader. And I think that's where it started for the New Orleans Pelicans off the court to get a guy like McCollum. And I know he hasn't made any All-Star games or won a NBA championship, but I still consider him a high-profile NBA player. But he came in and he obviously was invested in those guys, and we saw that transform into the court as the Pelicans, they made a playoff push, and McCollum was a huge part in that, and he played so well for the Pelicans. He came in, he averaged somewhere around 26 points per game to go along with 5 rebounds and 6 assists. So he played really well for the Pelicans, and he helped them make that playoff push. And we saw his playoff experience shine through the Pelicans in those play-in games. They had to win 2 play-in games to reach the playoffs, and they were able to do it. So I think he played a huge role in that. And then they also have another veteran star on this team. And when I say he's a star in his role, and that's Jonas Valanciunas. And what I saw about him from last season is that he was, a lot of the times, he had to be the best player on the Pelicans, and he helped them win some ball games when there was no Zion Williamson or when there was no Brandon Ingram. He stepped up and he helped the Pelicans win some ball games. And then also, I think he's one of the most underrated bigs in the league. He averaged around 17 points per game to go along with 11 rebounds, and he was a walking double-double, and he just did a great job of playing his role. He was so dominant on the low block and then on the offensive and defensive glass. And then he also gives the Pelicans some versatility with his ability to score the ball from the mid-range and the three-point line, and then he set some great screens. So McCollum and Jonas Valanciunas, those guys were so key for the New Orleans Pelicans last season, and I think they did a great job in helping this young team. Now we look at the young stars on this team, and I want to start with Zion Williamson, and this is why I also think the McCollum trade was so important. When McCollum joined the Pelicans, they started to win a lot more games, and they became competitive with the better teams in the Western Conference. And even in the first round of the playoffs, they took the first seeded Phoenix Suns to 6 games, which I thought was very impressive to do without a guy like Zion Williamson. And I think Zion, seeing all of this, it really motivated him, and he wanted to be out on the court with his teammates. We saw him rejoin the team. He was sitting on the benches and traveling with the team. And then also he talked about wanting the extension, and he eventually got it. And then most importantly, he started to take his rehab and his health a lot more seriously. All the videos and pictures we've seen over the summer, Zion looks like he slimmed down a bit, and he still looks very lean. And then we all have just been seeing the crazy dunks that he's been doing. So I think that was very important, and I think it's getting Zion's head on the right track. And then also, as a basketball player, in my opinion, Zion Williamson is so special, and I think for him, he has an unfair point of view as an NBA basketball player because of the crazy dunks that he does, and those dunks are ridiculous. He's crazy athletic, so it causes a lot of people to see him as just a dunker. but his game is so much more than that. And what my favorite part about his game is what he's going to be able to do for the Pelicans and the versatility he's going to add to this team. And I think he's going to be effective in so many different ways. I think he's going to be effective with the ball in his hands. I think he's going to be effective in the pick and roll as a screener. And then I also think he's going to be very effective in transition, and that's going to be so fun to watch. And then also when it comes to his skill set, I think a big part that does not get talked about is his quick first step and his ability to put the ball on the floor. If he has a big on him, I'm talking like a 7-footer, he's easily going to blow right past him and get to the rim for a layup or a dunk. And then also, and this is where those problems come in for opposing defenses, if the big guy keeps getting blown past, they're going to try to put a smaller guy on Zion, but you really can't do that because he's so strong and he has all that brute force that's going to be an easy back down right under the rim. So he's going to create so many mismatches for the New Orleans Pelicans, and I cannot wait to see him play with this team. You look at his co-star Brandon Ingram, and I think the sky is the limit for him next season. Looking at the postseason that he's coming off of, I think it takes your confidence to a whole new level. Watching him against the Phoenix Suns, he was just so dominant, and there was a point where he scored 30+ points in 3 straight games. And I think next year, if Brandon Ingram comes into the season fully healthy, he's going to be an all-star, and he's going to have the chance to make an all-NBA team. That's what I saw from him last season. And then also what I like about B.I. is even though that he's a relatively quiet guy, he still finds a way to be a leader, and he leads on the court by example. And what I noticed from him this season is that he was a lot more engaged on the defensive side of the ball, staying in front of his defender, contesting shots, and then also playing the passing lanes. And I think all of that is so contagious for the rest of the guys on the team. And then also, you gotta love Brandon Ingram's skill set. His skill set is ridiculous. He's a legit 3-level scorer in his league, and with his height and his length, his ability to put the ball on the floor is so vital. And we all know how he gets when he gets in that mode and he's getting to those spots in the mid-range. He is damn near impossible to stop. And then another area that I think he's improved so much on is driving to the rim, finishing through contact, whether it's a contested layup or dunking over or right through people. I think he's gotten a lot better at that. And then also what I'm looking forward to the most from B.I. is his pick and roll game with Zion Williamson. The Pelicans now have the depth and versatility to surround them with nothing but shooters, and those two guys in a pick and roll with nothing but space is going to be dangerous, because I think it's going to be a pick your poison type of situation. Zion rolling hard to the rim with B.I. navigating with the ball in his hands, that's going to be very tough to stop. So I think with all these factors, with the Pelicans having the veteran stars, and then also having 2 young developing stars, and then all the other young valuable players around them, the New Orleans Pelicans are going to be one of the best teams in the Western Conference next season. That's how confident I'm feeling about these guys, and I really cannot wait to see them play. But the front office, they've done a great job of constructing this team, and they really have the perfect balance. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment down below if you agree or disagree, and then subscribe for more weekly content. We do this all the time, man. And that's curtains.